Let's get right to our strategy session. Joining us, two CNN political contributors, the Democratic strategist, Paul Begala, and the Republican strategist, Alex Castellanos. Guys, thanks very much for coming in. Alex Castellanos. Did I say Paul Begala? I meant Alex Castellanos.
I'll pretend I'm Paul.
James Carville, Alex Castellanos. Thanks, guys, very much for coming in. Take two. All right, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the Republican presidential race that's going on right now. Huntsman versus Romney. Alex, let me start with you. John Huntsman is really going after Mitt Romney, two former governors. Huntsman, the former governor of Utah, Romney, the former governor of Massachusetts. Listen to Huntsman talk about Romney's record as governor of Massachusetts.
47th is 47th. First is first. So, you know, just let the facts speak for themselves.
All right, so he says when he was governor of Utah, Utah was #1 in creating jobs. Massachusetts was 47th in creating jobs. I know you worked for Romney 4 years ago. Your son now works for Huntsman. You're neutral in this Republican contest right now. But how angry, how bitter is this going to get between Romney and Huntsman?
Well, I think it's going to be tough on the Republican side. You know, I think Republican candidates rightly feel that anybody who runs against Barack Obama could end up as the next president of the United States. And what we're seeing are the playoffs right now, Wolf. There's the conservative Tea Party contest. Michelle Bachmann is winning that. If she wins Iowa, then the party's going to go to New Hampshire, the next contest, a few weeks later, and they're going to look for the anti-Bachmann. They fear she's a little too conservative, so hey, maybe we need a more establishment Republican who can be the anti-Bachmann, who can get independent votes in a general election. Who's that? That's what you see Huntsman and Romney fighting over now. You know, the establishment primary is not going to be one on social issues. It'll be one on economic issues, jobs. And that's why whoever owns that and wins that battle could be the Republican nominee.
It's fascinating because at the same time we see Romney and Huntsman going after each other, Huntsman especially going after Romney, arguably the front runner right now. We see this little battle between these two Minnesota candidates as well, Michelle Bachmann and Tim Pawlenty. James, you like seeing this kind of fight among Republicans?
Well, you know, it can't be avoided. To be fair, Republicans, I remember when then Senator Clinton and Senator Obama had a little tiff back in 2008. Look, the nomination for president of a major political party is worth something, and people get into it. Intensity, anybody who's been involved in presidential politics, the intensity in these primaries is worse than the intensity in a general election in many cases. I talked to people about the Reagan-Ford '76 election, and you know, churches split up over that. I mean, it was very intense, and it's going to get this way. But Romney does have a problem, as I understand it, with his job creation record in Massachusetts and also at Bain Capital. Kennedy really beat him bad. I think it was in ’94 by getting people who were fired by Bain Capital. And I'm sure that they got a good campaign. They're aware of that, and they'll deal with it. But we're certainly going to do that. And you know, it looks like Sarah Palin may get in, and she'll get in this fight too.
Yeah.
And, Wolf, it's a little bit like Thanksgiving dinner at home. You know, the family debates can be contentious, but at the end of the day, everybody pulls together for Christmas. You know, everybody gets together, and usually they're united by the opposition to the other party.
Well, you know, James raises a good point, because his wife, Mary Madeline, was on the show yesterday, and she suggested that she's increasingly coming around to the conclusion that Sarah Palin will, in fact, run for the Republican nomination. Alex, do you think she will?
No. I don't see that. Well, I think Sarah Palin is running now, but in the person of Michelle Bachmann, who has filled that space. Sarah Palin has become really so, I think, in some ways out of the picture as a political candidate. It's almost like she had become the vice president. Nobody thinks of her that much anymore. She's figured out what I think all of us can see, that her place is not at the top of a ticket, but she can still be very powerful and effective for principles she genuinely cares about in a country she's very concerned about.
You agree with Mary, or you agree with Alex, James?
You know, I'm going to agree with my wife.
Smart man, James.
Can I be wrong? Of course, do I know? No, but just the tea leaves sort of seem to me to indicate that she may be getting in. And I think for the kind of very reason that Alex said, one of the reasons is she wants to get in the middle of this squabble. That this is a big stage here, and people don't want to miss out on it.
If she does run, Alex,
if I'm wrong, I'll be the first.
I know. If she does run, and none of us knows right now, she knows, and her daughter, Bristol, says that her mom has made up her mind. We don't know what that decision is, but if she runs, does she automatically in Iowa emerge as a front runner?
She emerges as a front runner, but Michelle Bachmann is not to be underestimated in Iowa. You know, that's her home. She was born there. She's got a very powerful ground game there and a message that resonates. I think what that would do is it would split that conservative vote in Iowa between Bachmann and Palin, and all of a sudden it might make Iowa a state that a Romney or a Huntsman or a Pawlenty could win.
Well, right now, Romney's doing well in Iowa. Huntsman's nowhere in the polls, in the last polls that we've seen over the past few days. But increasingly, James, Michelle Bachmann, she's atop those Iowa polls today and yesterday.
Sure. Yeah, no, and look, she's had a good run here. You know, it's going to be interesting. You know, Huntsman, the one thing is no one has ever won the Republican nomination without winning either Iowa or New Hampshire. And so there's a lot of theories about how people can you know, not do that. If Huntsman doesn't run in Iowa, it's going to be hard to see him doing very well in New Hampshire because somebody's going to get a, you know, a lot of publicity for running, and you know, if you run an unexpected close second, that helps you a good deal. I mean, once these primaries start, or caucuses start, that's where the coverage is. That's where Wolf Blitzer is going to be. That's what people are going to see, and that happens every cycle, and people tend to forget that.
James, right. Alex, we'll leave it on that note, but we'll spend a lot of time talking about this in the weeks and months to come. James Carville and Alex Castellanos, guys.